Wait! Before you sit back and think your estate planning is done because you signed a fancy document at a lawyer's office, I need you to listen to me. We are talking about your legacy. We are talking about the money you worked your fingers to the bone for, and right now, most of you are standing on the edge of a cliff without even knowing it. You have a living trust? Great. But if that trust is empty, it isn't worth the paper it's printed on. It's like buying a beautiful safe to protect your jewelry and then leaving the diamonds sitting out on the kitchen counter. It makes no sense. The problem is simple but devastating: lack of funding. You went to the attorney, you paid the fees, you got the binder with the gold lettering, and then you put it on a shelf. You think you're protected. You think your kids are taken care of. But if you haven't physically changed the titles of your assets into the name of that trust, you don't own a funded trust, you own an expensive piece of stationery. And do you know what happens to that stationery when you pass away? The court throws it right into the probate bin along with everyone else who didn't plan it all. I know what you're feeling. You're tired. You've spent 40 years dealing with paperwork, and the thought of going to the bank or calling your broker makes you want to scream. You're afraid of making a mistake. You're afraid that if you put your house in the trust's name, you won't own it anymore. You're worried about losing control. Listen to me, you are the trustee. You are the boss. The only thing you're losing by doing this is the nightmare of your children spending years in court fighting over a house that should have been a seamless handoff. The big question I get is always, Susie, what actually goes in there? Everything. Your home, your brokerage accounts, your non-retirement savings. If it has a title or a deed, that name needs to change from John Doe to John Doe, trustee of the John Doe Living Trust. Here is your actionable takeaway, and I want you to do this tomorrow morning. Not next week, not when the weather gets better, tomorrow. First, the real estate. This is the big one. You need a quitclaim deed or a grant deed to move your home into the trust. If you don't do this, that house is going through probate. Period. Second, look at your bank and brokerage accounts. You don't necessarily need to close them, you just need to update the ownership. Go to the bank, show them your certification of trust, that's the short version of your trust document, and tell them you want to retitle the account. Now, listen closely because this is where people get tripped up, your IRAs and 401(k)s. You do not retitle these into the name of the trust while you are alive. If you do, the IRS will look at that as a full distribution and hit you with a tax bill that will make your head spin. For retirement accounts, the trust usually becomes the beneficiary, not the owner. Check with your tax professional on that one, because the laws around inherited IRAs are changing constantly, and I want you to stay safe. Finally, your stuff. Your jewelry, your furniture, your art. You should have a document called an assignment of personal property. It's a one-page paper that says, everything I own in my house belongs to the trust. Sign it. Date it. Done. Don't be powerless. You work too hard to let the state decide who gets your money because you are too busy or too scared to finish the job. Title your assets. Fund your trust. Stand in your truth. Because if you don't take care of your money, nobody else is going to do it for you.